Today we're going to talk about the power of pets in your health. That's right. Your pet can give you some of the most biggest bangs for your health than you can possibly imagine. I'm very excited to share with you this episode of the power of pets in your health. Welcome to Healthy by George. I want you to know that this is for informational purposes only, and it should not be considered as medical advice, nor does it have anything related to my employer. So it's always best for you to check with your own medical provider before you do anything that I recommend or for any medical treatments. So please join me, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. So welcome to Healthy by George. My name is Mary Catherine George. I'm a health psychologist, and today we're talking about the power of pets. And this is my sweet pet, Pete. Of course, this is what he loves. He loves his belly rubbed, which what pet doesn't? And wouldn't you love to have your belly rubbed? So the reason I'm talking about the power of pets today is about 10 years ago, my husband, who was alive then and struggling with multiple sclerosis, he really was so focused. Oh, okay. I think Pete's decided that he's had enough for being on camera. My dog is so independent, Mr. Pete. I call him Mr. Pete or Sweet Pete. So when my husband had multiple sclerosis about 10 years ago, and he was really struggling because he was so focused on his own health, his own symptoms and what was going on with his multiple sclerosis. And when I was talking to my therapist, she said, sometimes getting a pet for someone who's struggling with a chronic illness can be a wonderful way to take that focus off of ourselves and what we're struggling with and focus on loving and receiving unconditional love from a pet. So that's what made me go after getting a pet. And it was a great decision because it really gave my husband someone to care about. He felt so loved by Mr. Pete, and he was, of course, giving him way too many treats. But the truth is that we're learning that pets are extremely instrumental in not only helping us by being an unconditional source of love, but they can be this awesome, extremely benefit to our health. First of all, they give us emotional support. If you're feeling anxious, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling like you're struggling, what's better than taking a walk with your dog? It gets you outside, gets you away from the issues that maybe you're thinking too much about. And people use now emotional support pets for many, many things. When they feel anxious traveling, when they feel difficulty going in social events or social settings. Emotional support dogs have become a key instrument to having something in your life that gives you a benefit that goes beyond what a medication can do. It's like a holistic treatment to have a pet in your life. So the other thing we've seen too, which is amazing, is the fact that having a pet helps you with your cardiological kind of components. It helps you with your heart. It lowers blood pressure. It helps you get out and get more exercise. So really, truly, having a pet is something that goes way beyond what we ever could think of possible. There have been some studies too, which I think are extremely fascinating, of people who have epilepsy, that you can have a dog who can actually detect if you potentially are going to have a seizure and warn you. They'll come over and maybe sit by you or be beside you so that if you are a single person living alone, you struggle with epilepsy, this dog has been trained to sort of detect that you have epilepsy. We've also seen that sometimes the keen smell that dogs have, they can detect cancers. That has been, or they can detect that you're going to have some kind of a cardiology problem, like a heart attack or something medical. That's what's so amazing about pets. The other thing is that they get you out of the house. They give you something to talk to. I know that many times I'm out and about. Guess what? Someone comes up to me They love my pet. My pet wants love from them. And we get into a conversation and we have a social exchange, which is something that probably wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been walking my dog outside. So having a pet is something that I think everyone should consider, especially if they live alone. But I understand too, some people have these kinds of issues around the challenges of owning a pet. And believe me, I know this all too well. My dog, Sweet Pete, is very spoiled. I have to have a babysitter for him sometimes if I'm going to the office for long hours, or I need to know that I have to schedule someone to come in and walk him, check in on him, because I just feel horrible if I'm not coming in and out frequent enough where he can get the kind of exercise and attention that he's used to getting. So, those are the key things about owning a pet. Additionally, the key that is further is they can be very, very instrumental in giving you a situation where you are really too self-involved. When you have to give it to a pet, your attention, spending time playing with them, giving them some love, caring for them. Yes, it is an expense. Yes, it is something that gives you an added challenge sometimes when you're planning on trips or you're going away. But if you have gotten that certificate, which is needed for emotional support dogs, I think now for many of airlines, not only do you have to show that it's an emotional support dog through a certificate, but you also have to show that you've had your dog trained and that they're capable of obeying your commands, especially like on a plane. I know the one time that I had brought Pete on a pet plane, it was really pretty rough, because he had this sudden experience of having some very strong gas. And unfortunately, you really can't control if your dog is having gas or not. And the wonderful flight attendant came up to me because it was such a strong smell. She said, do you need to take your dog to the bathroom? And I'm like, no, he's just scared because he's in the plane and he can't stop himself from having gas. So that was a big challenge. So now if I fly with him, I try to bring something to kind of help with the little odors that might happen with my poor little dog. But I can't tell you how important it has been, not only for me, for my own emotional support through many of the things that I've gone through. I think the other thing that was really challenging is when I broke one of my legs. And it was me and my dog late at night. And I was like, this is too much for me to try and go to the ER right now. So my poor little dog sat by me. He kind of gave me some special attention until I could get up in the morning and call the ambulance to come and get me. So if you're contemplating getting a dog, you have some challenges that you're struggling with, depression, anxiety, maybe social settings are not your best experience, perhaps consider a pet. Now, dogs are not the only thing. I think many, many people love cats. I think the key with cats is, of course, the litter box, but there are great, great choices for litter boxes now. I know some people who have fish. Or they have other types of, like a lizard. What was it? I think there's certain lizards that you can get too, like these little dragon lizards that are quite nice to have. So, contemplate what kind of a pet that you would be willing to experience. And maybe you can foster a pet. I know many, many of these shelters, they have fostering programs. So when you're thinking about options for your health, your well-being, for your mental status, consider a dog or cat or anything that you think might contribute to your life, contribute to your well-being, and give you a sense of unconditional love. Well, I don't know how much unconditional love a fish would give you or how much unconditional love, a bird might do, although some birds I think have been extremely interesting, especially the ones that learn to speak. So please think about getting a pet, contributing something different to your life, and make a budget perhaps and plan and get something that's within your budget. So this is Mary Catherine again, MC with Healthy by George. Please join me next week when we'll be talking about the follow-up from GLP-1s. Yes, we're going to talk about the weight loss drugs next week. So I look forward to sharing with you again. Bye-bye. So thank you so much for joining me at Healthy by George. I hope you found the information inspiring and that it encourages you on your wellness journey. Because remember, your body, your well-being are a most precious gift, and every tiny action taken daily can make a huge difference. I hope the information here is educational purposes and is not meant to replace your medical care. See your doctor and talk about what works for you. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me continuing creating content that inspires and empowers you to live your best life. Goodbye for now, and join me again at the next Healthy by George.